Hello, friends. Tuesday night, NXT just went off the air. Again, as we said before, myself and Kyle were reacting to every show throughout the week. And we'll start here with NXT. I think what's interesting for me, let me just explain my background a little bit. I do not consider myself a P1 NXT viewer. I'll just lay it out there. So sometimes when I'm evaluating NXT, it won't come with the same intellectual knowledge of the background of every story that you would get if we were breaking down Raw or SmackDown or even Dynamite. So I just want to point that out there, that I'm kind of treat this as a, you know what, couple of stories got me back into not just watching NXT from afar, but really enjoying this, watching it from start to finish. Although, because this is out of CW and I have Sling, so it does not include local channels, I have to actually watch with the classic antenna. I was a little late jumping into NXT because I was in the drive-thru line waiting for the Popeyes chicken wrap, and I'll have a quick review of the chicken wrap at the end of this video. Boom, tease. I do want to start real quick. Mariah May, boy, does she look like a superstar. It's clear that the women's division at NXT, yes, they're loaded with stars. The thing that's interesting, though, when you talk about reloading, right? You know, I mentioned on our podcast, which again, we do the episodes every Friday now. I mentioned on the podcast, if NXT is very much loaded and the main roster needs help, there'll come a point in time where NXT is going to need to be purged. They're the third brand. They're the developmental brand. They're great, but they shouldn't be the best show on TV every single week. And, you know, it shouldn't be. So, you lose Stephanie Vaquer. Jordynne Grace, by the way, still on the NXT roster. I think that's a little interesting. Curious to see if there's more mileage with her. Obviously, they have big plans for her at NXT, but I thought Jordynne Grace was going to also move up to SmackDown. But seeing Mariah May made me realize that even though that there is the depth of the NXT women's division is deep in terms of characters and people who can step in and deliver, not a lot of stars in the NXT women's division. I think certain women are stars, right? Jada Parker, star. Superstar in waiting. There's a few others. Kalania Jordan, star. And there's various others. But a lot of great women, but none of them are stars. Mariah May walks into NXT as the big Jordynne Grace, superstar. Mariah May, superstar. You have two superstars right now in the NXT women's division, and Mariah May loved the presentation. We don't know if that's going to be her name in NXT. The announcers never mentioned her name. She never mentioned her name. But it's clear and obvious that having a star, a superstar in place in Mariah May, and man, she looked nice. She looked nice. There's no sugarcoating it. She looked really nice. And she was presented as such. I thought Jacy Jayne actually had a really good heel promo. Again, she's one of those women that, you know, she's been there for 4 years. But if you're not a regular NXT viewer, her face is not recognizable. So her ability to cut a legitimate heel promo, immediately stick it to the fans. I think sometimes if you're a surprise winner, it's very easy to let the fans in. Let the fans in and, you deserve it. It's very easy. Jayne did a great job of eliminating that immediately. You guys didn't believe in me. You know, she looked like a star. Heel-wise, she was able to talk. She did a great job. So I can't wait. I think great decision by Shawn Michaels and the writing team of NXT. Immediately go to JC Jane and Mariah May. Immediately go that route. See where that goes. TNA Championship. Trick Williams, great story there, obviously, with Hollywood Trick. The story of Trick Williams and Joe Hendry is the reason why, personally, I've been invested in NXT. And seeing Trick Williams in the main event spot and with the TNA Championship, Mike Santana, never believed that Mike Santana was going to win that championship. Great to see Elijah. Great to see that he's up next. So you're seeing a cross promotion. I like that Joe Hendry right now is not on TV. I think that's the big thing. Like, well, when Joe Hendry won the championship, remember what's going on with Cody Rhodes. I think after you suffer a devastating loss, championship or anything, time away, it makes the audience want you more. So Trick Williams, I would imagine, he may not have the TNA Championship for a long period of time, but go through different challengers, have Trick Williams interact with different TNA stars. Speaking of TNA, what I would like to see once Joe Hendry returns, and I don't know if he'll return at like Against All Odds on Friday at their TNA pay-per-view or at a future show. What I would like to see, WWE, believe it or not, has a very deep roster of TNA alum. And watching the TNA World Championship, I thought of two people, actually. Thinking about the history. Actually, three people. I thought about AJ Styles. I thought about Mike Tenay and Don West. Because I remember watching TNA in its glory days. I remember watching AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, all the big stars of TNA. And yes, TNA had a big WWE crossover back in the day. But watching those guys, R-Truth, Ron Killings. WWE has a deep alumni base of TNA stars, of previous TNA stars. As this gets deeper, I want to see some of these TNA stars, whether it is AJ Styles, LA Knight, or Eli Drake, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, various others. Bully Ray is on the roster, works with the company. And various others. Booker T. Booker T is a TNA alum. Mick Foley is a TNA alum. I want to see some of these TNA alum. Kurt Angle is the big name. What does that TNA Championship mean? And is Trick Williams disgracing the TNA Championship, or is he elevating the TNA Championship? Did Joe Hendry fumble the bag, or is Joe Hendry the right person to get that championship back and to lead TNA into a new era? I think as we start to get going here, I like what they're doing with Trick Williams. I like what they're doing kind of, certain loyal TNA stars trying to get the championship back. But when Joe Hendry's back in the picture, I want to see somebody alum of TNA tap in. You got the brand elevated by using some of those guys who were a part of the TNA brand. AJ Styles, the face of the brand. AJ Styles can still get in the ring. You could run AJ Styles versus Trick Williams for the TNA Championship if you wanted to. So, lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff there. This video is meant to be only like 10 minutes long. So I'll wrap with this. There are certain stories in NXT that's, it's developmental, right? And they got this World Collide pay-per-view. I don't know everybody on the show, but obviously it's a good showcase. We're going to talk about this on the podcast. Raw and SmackDown does not give you right now, while they're technically sound shows, they don't give you a feel like, boom, this has to be, this is the show. We got to pay attention to everything that's going on. NXT, you have to pay attention to everything. Miles Bourne, I thought he had a great match. I jumped in halfway through the match. I didn't really understand the concept of the different rounds and the pin. I didn't understand it. I have to go back and read it because I've jumped in the match midway through, so I didn't understand the concept. But it was nonetheless great story, great match. Miles Bourne in the spotlight. NXT is giving you things to chew on. The characters are giving you something to chew on. Now, with all these people moving up, especially in the women's division, it is up to the guys and girls that's on the show now to really step up and impress. And they'll get TV time. They'll get the opportunity. Let's see how Jasper Troy, LFG winner, let's see how he looks next week. Tyra May Steele, I thought looked okay. Booker really didn't do a good job of explaining why she won the season. He just said, "Oh, you looked at her and you knew that she was going to win from day one." Like, that's it, Booker? That's all we're getting? But no, it's fine. NXT has an opportunity now. I think they got new eyes on their show. It's up to these stars to elevate themselves with whatever TV time they get. So that's that. That's my review of NXT. Of course, check out Kyle's review of NXT. A little interesting tomorrow. Didn't realize this AEW is 4 hours because of Flyer Fest. Whatever Ja Rule's running. So it's a 4-hour show. So I don't know if we'll do a full review of AEW Wednesday night, Thursday morning. I don't know. We'll see. Real quick. My review of the Popeyes chicken wraps. I got one classic and one spicy. Boy, let me just say this. Because it's Popeyes, you're going to be sitting in a drive-thru line waiting. If I didn't have to sit in the drive-thru line and wait for the chicken wrap, I would be okay. I'm like, not bad. But when you wait for like 10 minutes plus, 20 minutes to get this thing, you're expecting this thing to be epic. Didn't get that with this chicken wrap. I just didn't. Didn't get it. Not like 2019, the chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich was epic. Chicken wrap, not feeling it. A little too small. Chicken wraps is just a tender. I understand the pickle, putting that in there to kind of balance out the spiciness. But maybe a little too much pickle kind of takes away from the tender. And just overall, I don't think it's Popeye's best effort. Have high expectations for chicken wraps, for anything chicken related with Popeyes. I love Popeyes. Too much of it will make you fat and sick, so don't get too much. But I love Popeyes. So because I had high expectations, a little bit of a letdown. All right, I'm done. See you guys next time.